If a relationship recently ended for you or a situationship, then stick around because we're looking at the lessons you are meant to learn. So I already see that you were meant to learn to have strong boundaries. You were meant to know that you are going to be loved exactly as who you are. You don't need to change yourself for anyone else. And I also see that this really opened you up to dating. So maybe you haven't dated in a while and you weren't really open to meeting new people, and this relationship did that for you. And we have a new start is coming. So I'm seeing that this really was more of an introduction to help you start going out, start doing things so you can meet your true match, the love of your life. So the other person who was in a relationship, I see that they were someone who is very driven. So they have a lot of drive. They might be more masculine. They're ambitious. They have kind of an idea of where they're going, and they work really hard. So they're also a hard worker. They could have their own business or just work really hard at work. And, there's someone who made you feel protected. And you're someone who is definitely more connected with the earth, with nature, with, your divine feminine. So you might be more feminine. You might love wearing flowy, loose clothing maybe, or even just not that much clothing at all. You're someone who, maybe likes to put flowers or leaves in your hair. You could like going on walks, spending a lot of time outdoors, in nature, in the forest. So if that resonates for you, then this reading definitely might be for you. So I already see that the theme of your relationship was really just to have fun. You were meant to party, to go out, to have new experiences, really to keep it light, fun, exciting. It was never meant to go long term. And I see that the other person brought balance into your life. So they could be someone who is very different from you, but really balanced you out. So maybe you're someone who's more reserved and they were less reserved. Maybe you're more quiet, they were more loud. They really balanced you out. They made you feel safe and protected. And it was just a fun experience for you. But I also see that they had a lot of conflict. And I'm seeing that you might not have been aware of this conflict that they were experiencing. So it was a lot more inner conflict. So maybe you ended up feeling confused, and it's really because they were going through a lot. And you brought a lot of options, or you kind of opened their worldview or their world to this other person. I'm getting the sense that they feel like they've never met anyone like you. You're someone who is intelligent, beautiful. You could be well-traveled, you're exciting, they love the way you talk, and, they didn't realize that there were people like you in the world. So you really, showed them all the possibilities and maybe really opened them up to new experiences as well. And I see that their lesson really was to take more action, to be more confident. So maybe they were someone who didn't believe that someone could truly love them for them. And, maybe that's why they had to put up a front that they were super confident, but deep down they were someone who really didn't see their value or even believe that someone could love them. And your lesson in this relationship was to know or see that love is still out there. So this really was just meant to be fun and show you that love kind of is all around you. And maybe in the past you were someone who had a hard time walking away, and this time you walked away despite it being very difficult for you. And your lesson was not to settle. So you recognize that this person maybe wasn't being honest, or they weren't keeping their promises, or there was something that didn't work for you, and instead of brushing it aside and pretending that you're okay with it, you decided to walk away, even though it was hard. I see that they brought a lot of excitement, a lot of fun, a lot of passion, a lot of lust and desire. They could be someone who really likes sex. And you could be someone who really likes sex too, and you just had a lot of fun together. And, you know, maybe they even had you believe that they wanted marriage, and maybe they had intentions, and maybe they were honest and they wanted that too in the beginning. But, you know, clearly something changed. But this was just to show you that, you know, dating, love is just meant to be fun. And, you know, it got you dreaming about getting married again. Maybe you hadn't done that in a while. And I see that in this relationship, you were someone who was a bit more reserved because, you know, you could be a water sign or have water in your chart, and you know that you are more sensitive. So it takes you a little longer to really open up to people because you know that you'll get hurt very easily. So you were someone who had a bit more worries, a bit more anxiety, kind of maybe felt like this was too good to be true. And maybe that was your intuition kind of telling you, communicating to you that, you know, all the promises that they were making, they weren't being super honest. Either way, you were someone who was a bit more reserved, but still, you know, very sensitive. And once you open up, you kind of just, it's like a waterfall. You have all those feelings. And your karma really was to show you that all the possibilities, that there's a lot going on out there. You were just meant to be passionate and fun. This was meant to teach you that maybe, you know, you got swept up in the fantasies and the obsessions and in the lust very quickly. And it was meant to teach you that maybe next time to slow down a little bit, to, you know, maybe have stronger boundaries. Maybe you still need to work on that, but it wasn't meant to be super serious. So you weren't meant to be attached to them. You were just meant to experience this, learn something, so you're better prepared for your next relationship.